The Catholic Church has played a significant role in shaping Western civilization. Its influence has spanned centuries, impacting art, culture, politics, and morality. However, within this vast and intricate history lies a dark chapter: the Church's involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. This period stands as a stark contradiction to the Church's teachings of love, compassion, and human dignity. It is a period that demands acknowledgement, understanding, and ultimately, atonement. This essay delves into the Church's deeply troubling role in the slave trade, exploring its participation, its delayed condemnation, and the imperative for reconciliation. The Catholic Church's entanglement with the slave trade began early, with papal authority playing a key role in legitimizing the enslavement of Africans. In 1452, Pope Nicholas V issued the Papal Bull, granting Portugal the right to enslave Africans south of Cape Boiador. This authorization was further solidified in 1455 with the Bull, cementing the Church's endorsement of the enslavement of non-Christians. Tragically, these papal pronouncements provided a moral and legal framework for the horrors that would follow, laying the groundwork for centuries of suffering and exploitation. These initial pronouncements were followed by similar permissions given to Spain in 1493, expanding the reach of the slave trade to the Americas. These papal bulls effectively sanctioned the enslavement of entire populations, fueling the burgeoning transatlantic slave trade. These actions, taken in the name of the Church, directly contradicted its core teachings of human dignity and the inherent worth of every individual. The Church's involvement in the slave trade went beyond mere endorsement. It extended to direct participation and profit. Historical records reveal that the Church itself owned and exploited enslaved Africans. Enslaved people were given as gifts to the Church, shipped from Africa to Rome and forced into servitude. Within the Church's hierarchy, officials baptized enslaved people and then utilized their forced labor to generate wealth, directly benefiting from their exploitation. Among the various religious orders within the Church, the Society of Jesus, or Jesuits, stands out for its significant involvement in the slave trade. The Jesuits, renowned for their missionary work and educational institutions, were also deeply entrenched in the slave economy. They owned and operated plantations, primarily cultivating sugar and tobacco, where enslaved Africans were subjected to brutal conditions and forced labor. The Jesuits' ownership of enslaved people, estimated to be around 20,000 individuals, fueled their economic activities and expansion. This stark reality casts a long shadow over the Jesuit legacy, highlighting the complexities and contradictions within the Church's history. Tragically, the Church's condemnation of slavery was slow and inadequate. It wasn't until 1839 that Pope Gregory XVI issued a condemnation of the transatlantic slave trade. However, even this condemnation was limited, failing to address the broader institution of slavery that continued to thrive in various forms. The Church's silence and inaction during this period allowed the horrors of slavery to persist, further solidifying its complicity in this system of oppression. It was not until 1888, with Pope Leo XIII, that the Church finally condemned all forms of slavery. However, this condemnation came after most of the Christian world had already abolished slavery, highlighting a disheartening lag in moral leadership. Moreover, even after the formal condemnation, the legacy of racism continued to permeate the Church. Black Catholics faced segregation, discrimination, and limited opportunities for advancement within the Church hierarchy. These injustices demonstrated that the Church's reckoning with its past was far from complete.